Any advice, Danielle, for people studying pharmacy?
Good luck!
Yes, what's the name, please? Hi, and welcome to my video where today you will be shadowing me on 2 back-to-back locum shifts. When I first moved to London, I was really scared that I'd run out of money through like deposit and just taxi fees from moving and things. So then that's why I booked back-to-back tons of shifts, not thinking I'd get all of them, but then I did. Hence why today, Danielle, I have a 11-hour day? 11-hour working day.
Oh!
I finished work at 10 o'clock tonight, so that'll be fun. So yeah, I thought that today I'd be going all around. You can shadow me as I go to my locum shifts and I'll be answering the questions that you have asked me. So how to use the BNF? Well, for the Prereg exam, I only looked through it once and then I made notes from it, and after that I just used the notes to revise. And then since qualifying, I rarely carry it around with me. I thought I'd have it everywhere, but no, it's too heavy, so I just have it on the app and I try and update the app and look at it online because that's the most, you know, recent source. How did you validate your pharmacy degree? There's a document that I will link which is on pharmacy regulation, and they just tell you everything. How do you apply your personal knowledge to questions? That only comes with experience, and I'm still struggling so much because I remember revising for stuff, but when I actually come to work, I can't remember what the hell I'm doing. So, I mean, the good thing is once you're qualified, you can still use books and search online. I do that all the time. You don't have to memorize everything. So yeah, in terms of applying knowledge, I think it will just come with time. I'm still not there yet. So this is the problem of not working in a community pharmacy over a long period of time. I've just heard that these tapentadol tablets are controlled drugs. Danielle's just told me, which I wouldn't have realised, so about to write it up into the register now. But yeah, when it comes to remembering things, honestly, like, it is just carrying on, trying to learn, trying to remember. You learn something new every day. So I have to go straight to the next shift after this, so I've just got lunch here. It doesn't look great, but it smells really good. It's pouring down with rain outside, so I was gonna sit on a bench and eat it after the shift, but I'm not gonna be able to, so I'm just gonna have some now. England's weather literally needs to make its mind up because it was pouring down with rain a second ago, and now the sun is out. Although it doesn't even look like the sun is out, but it is. Oh shit, it's starting to rain now. So okay, I definitely spoke too soon. It's raining now. I'm on the way to the bus stop and I'm gonna get the bus to my next shift. Another question I got asked by somebody was, what did you do in the summer holidays and did you do anything pharmacy related? So first year, no, nothing pharmacy related. Second year, I had that whole blip with my exam. So I went around every pharmacy in my town and begged them for work experience, and I got, I don't know how long it was, I think it was about a month of work experience in a pharmacy. And then in third year, I did a summer placement for 6 weeks with Lloyd's, and that was it. And fourth year, I didn't do anything because it was soon to be pre-reg. So yeah, my life was not pharmacy related in summer. Pharmacy related? My life was not pharmacy orientated in the summer. I was more obsessed about going to South Korea and seeing my friends and family, so that's all I did during the summer holidays. So I don't think you necessarily need to spend your summers doing pharmacy related things, and I think that's more the case now with this whole Oriel stuff, because they judge you on the day rather than what you've done for experience, I think. Is that right? So yeah, I don't think you need to spend your life doing pharmacy stuff. Oh god, the tree. I don't think you need to spend your life doing pharmacy stuff when you're going to spend your life in a pharmacy anyway. Actually, having said that, my friend who did work in community pharmacies as a dispenser over the summer holidays obviously knew a lot more about over-the-counter drugs. But as I say, it's a bit of a head start, but it's not the be-all and end-all. My next question was, how do you increase your communication skills? It's just practice, get out there, talk to people. I find it easier just chatting away to people without a structure, and I know that a lot of pharmacy people want you to follow structure, like a consultation skills structure, and I really struggle with that because I much prefer just talking to people, you know, one-on-one. I would just say get out there, talk to people, don't be scared of going to the front. If you have a work experience in a community pharmacy, get out there to the front and just talk to as many people as you can. So I'm an hour and a half early to my next shift, so I'm literally just going to do a bit of supermarket shopping, maybe get a little bit of a snack, and then wait till 3 o'clock. Okay, so I'm halfway through my second shift, and oh my word, what a disaster it's been. Okay, so I arrived here, and I arrived about an hour early, because I came straight from my first shift in the morning. And then I came and just dropped my bags here, and I said, oh, I'm just going to do a bit of shopping and then come back. And I saw that there was just the pharmacist working. So I said, oh, I'm going to come back in an hour, but do we not have a dispenser today? And he was like, nope, she's called in sick. So this is when I'm like, oh my word, because I've never worked without a dispenser. It's only my second time in this store. I've never used their system, Pharmacy Manager, like I've only used it once or twice. So now I'm thinking, shit, like I'm gonna be in here for a 7-hour shift on my own. Thankfully, he stayed for half of it, so the regular pharmacist left now. And now I'm left to cover the back end of the shift, so I've still got half of it left to finish at 10 o'clock. But it's just been manic today, absolutely crazy. Like I've never had to work without a dispenser before. Usually, like as a locum pharmacist, your dispensers are so important because you don't know how the pharmacy runs. You can do all of the basic pharmacy stuff like checking and giving out and giving advice, but then in terms of the system and the tills and locking up and everything, they are the ones who are your main help. So he's taught me how to use the system, he's taught me how to dispense, he's taught me how to use the till and how to lock up, all in the space of like a couple of hours. And so I've got 3 hours left of this shift. I'm quite pleased because I guess like once I work here again, like I don't think anything will be harder than this. So I suppose it's good training for me, but it's just been a very tiring day. So I've got 2 questions to answer. The first one is, if I could go back in time, would I revise differently for my pharmacy degree? And the second question was, how would I eat in exam time? And they link with each other because if I could go back in time, I probably could not change the way I revised because I really struggle to have a balanced life. If I'm studying, I'm either studying and really stressed or I'm having a time of my life. And so I feel like even if I went back in time now, I'd still find that hard to do. I mean, I suppose I'd try harder to have a balanced life, but I don't know if I'd be able to achieve that. So I'd kind of give up on trying to go back in time and change the way I revise. However, I definitely would change what I eat during exam time. For the first 2 years of my exam periods, literally what I was doing was just cutting a Subway sandwich in half and having half for lunch and half for dinner. All I could think about was how much money everything was and how I needed to save because I didn't have enough money on the student loan and things. So I just ate really horrible foods and it did not help with my brain energy at all. However, when I went home and I was having home food cooked by my mum, which is really nutritious and really nice and on time, I did really well. And so I didn't realise that at the time, but now I see the pattern of when my mum was cooking for me or when I was having proper food, that's when I did well with revision. So I would recommend that even if that means you have to borrow money from your parents or like your older siblings or anything, I would still do it for exam time. Let's face it, like it's not really likely that you're going to change the way you revise. I've tried to change it for years and it hasn't happened. So I think give it up. The way you revise is the way you revise, and it's really difficult to change, but it's easy to change diet. So pack your diet with nutritious foods during exam time. My next question is, how did I revise during pre-reg? And the answer is, I was really annoyed because I wanted more than 2 weeks off to revise for the exam, but obviously work doesn't allow that. So what I did was I took 5 days in May, like the back end of May, and then I took 2 weeks before the exam. So I took the 5 days at the back end of May because I knew that I'd be scared at that point, so I wouldn't waste the 5 days, and it was close enough to my exam to be scared. And then and then I went back to work for 2 weeks, and then had 2 more weeks off for revision, and that was fine. Is any past paper source better than the other? No. Use as many past papers as you can for pre-reg, and use as many sources as you can, because the exam is just so wild card, you just don't know what is going to come up. So yeah, I definitely recommend that you use any sources. Don't just stick to Lloyd's, don't just stick to Boots, don't just stick to Buttercups, use all of them. I'm literally so hungry. I've got this like chicken that I bought ages ago, it's gone all cold now, and every time I'm about to eat it, someone walks into the pharmacy, so I've got to serve them. So I've got 1 hour left of the shift now, and I'm absolutely shattered. I just want to go home and relax. But anyway, I got asked quite a lot of times how I got a job in London. And basically, when I was at pre-reg, I applied to London hospitals, I think like 20 or something, and I didn't get a single interview. And I got an interview in Brighton, and they were like, you actually don't have enough hospital experience. And I was like, yeah, because my pre-reg was in community, and at the time I hadn't started my hospital experience yet. So I was like, of course I don't have it, but please choose me. And they didn't. So I had 1 interview, and that wasn't even in London, it was in Brighton. So yeah, I applied to loads of places, didn't get any. And then once I qualified, I got a job in an acute hospital, and I think that was like my leverage into coming to London, because at that point I had experience in an acute hospital and I had a lot more to say. So I would say when in pre-reg, don't get too disheartened if you can't find a job. Just work hard, pass your exam, and then you can think about the job after. And if you are thinking of going into hospital, especially London hospital, try and get acute experience. So like, even if you qualify and you're still in community, just keep applying. You never know what will happen. One thing I always recommend when you walk into a pharmacy is basically just looking really hard at where everything is stocked, because there's nothing worse than a customer like asking you a question, which I do with this all the time, and then being like, oh, I'm not sure where it is on the shelf, you know. And sometimes it's so embarrassing because they can identify where it is on the shelf better than you. So yeah, I really recommend that you give the shelf a really good look for all the counter items. I'm finally finished. I'm gonna lock up and go home now. I'm home. It's like, I don't know, 11:15 or something right now, and I'm just so happy to be home. Thank goodness. I'm just gonna end this Q&A session with my final question, which is, if you have a full-time hospital pharmacist job, why do you locum? And there's a range of answers for that. Firstly, I hate feeling really on edge about money. I don't want to feel like, you know that feeling of doom you get? I think that the feeling you get when you're scared or anxious about something, there's nothing quite like being scared or anxious about running out of money. And I hate that feeling. It makes me really, really uncomfortable. So I try to conquer that. That's the one reason. Another reason is obviously it keeps up my community pharmacy knowledge, so that I'm never like scared of it, and it actually stretches me. Like today, it's just challenged me to run a whole pharmacy alone, which I never ever thought I'd be able to do. So yeah, that. And also I think that I, in London particularly, without the presence of my mum, really do struggle with feeling like alone and lonely. And I think that just working and just getting out there just takes my mind off things, gives me a reason to wake up in the morning, because I feel like I've got a purpose. And so I think the kind of work ethic comes from that side of things. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed following me around on my locum shifts today, and I shall see you in the next video.